Okay, here is my sink full now of washed tomatoes. So the next thing I'll do is move them over to the pan of boiling water. Okay, so we put the tomatoes in the boiling water, and I haven't really done this. I haven't done this. This is the first time I've done this in 3 years. So we'll see how we do. But anyway, I'll put the tomatoes in the boiling water for a couple of minutes each. And the purpose of this is to get okay, I've got too much water in there, so I'm going to have to get some off. Let me find something that I can put down here without it hurting. This is a Pyrex cup. That should be fine. Most glass you would not do that with, but the Pyrex I can scoop down in here, it'll be fine. So I put in the boiling water, and I'm using this the Ball canning book, canning and preserving book, as the step-by-step process. So I gotta go back and see. I think I have to bring it to a boil before. I think I'll leave it in the. I think I bring it back to a boil. Let's see. I'm gonna go back to tomatoes. I was supposed to cut a small X in the tomatoes. I will. I'll do it on the next one. Dip in boiling water 30 to 60 seconds, then immediately plunge into cold water. All right. Well, it's been longer than 30 to 60 seconds, I would say. The skins should, the purpose is to get the skins loose, so I'm going to give it a little bit longer. And I'm going to get a paring knife and go ahead and cut these with an X like it said, which I did not do before. So I'm going to cut the blossom end of these, cut an X in the blossom end of these, like it says, with a paring knife. So I'll do that on the rest of these. I guess I don't really know what the purpose is, but we'll find out. Maybe it helps the peel come off. Don't know. Okay, the peel's starting to come off of these. I can see it. So I'll take them out here in just a minute. Some of my X's are not so small. Some of them are bigger than a small X. Hopefully it'll be fine. Okay. So this big one right here, the peel, yeah, the peel's coming off easy now. Okay, so there it is, coming off super easy of that tomato. So now I'm going to plunge it. This is just a stock pot, and it's filled. Stock pot is filled with ice water. Okay, so I'm just going to plunge the tomatoes into the ice water. Now that one, I don't know if that's coming off. I'm just gonna assume that they're working. That since that skin came off, I think they're coming off too. It's probably the purpose of the X to help the skin come off better. Okay, so they're cooling down in boiling water. I'm gonna put another batch of tomatoes in the pot. But this time they have the X cut in them now, so we'll see if that makes a difference. And I'm just using a little, like a fryer type thing, just to lower it into there so that I don't splash my hands. got the pan full now, so I mean, I'll just let them go for a couple minutes while I cut the rest of the X's in these. And then I probably have, this is a large bowl of tomatoes. I've got another, this many more over there too. So, a lot of tomatoes. Okay. The skin is starting to come off of those. So I'll give it another minute maybe, and then we'll put them in the boiling water. Before I do that, I'm going to get the tomatoes that are sitting in the boiling water out, put them in another container so that I have space in my, I'm sorry, the tomatoes that are in the ice bath, there we go. I'm going to get those out so that I have space in the ice bath. I'll put those in another container. Okay, so we're moving these out of the ice bath. And the skin, I've got to core it, but the skin just pulls right off. So super easy to get the skin off. I still have to cut the core out of it. But anyway, super easy. So I'm just gonna move the ones out of the ice bath into here. I don't know if that one's just loose, but we'll do the best I can on the skins. More skin just coming right off, just from that boiling water and then the ice bath. That one's not as loose. This one is very loose. So now we'll rotate back to the boiling water. Let's see how these are doing. These are coming off. It's looking great, so I'll put these in the ice bath. And I just keep repeating this for all the tomatoes. Same process for all the tomatoes. So I got another batch. I'll go ahead and put these in here, and I'll get in the rhythm because like I said, I've got more than this over there. I've got about twice as much as what I'm doing right now. So that's about all that's going to fit in there. I got 2 more in here, 2 more left in there, and then a whole bunch more over here. So I'm going to pause it. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and take the skins off of these before I do the next one. Let's see if I can rotate this down some. Yeah, maybe. See if you can see that. So I can just pull the skins right off of these. So I still need to get the cores out, but let's get the skin off of this one. Yeah, these I didn't cut the X's in, so I think the ones with the X's will be a little easier. I have a compost container that's already got stuff in it. So I'm just going to put these skins in the compost. I'm going to put the skins in the compost container. I think you could do other things with them, like, make vegetable stock or something like that, but I'm not there. Right now I'm just putting them in the compost container and we'll take them outside. I'll take them outside later. Maybe someday I'll get to vegetable stock, but right now I'm at the beginning of the learning process. This is the second time I canned tomatoes. The last time I did it was 3 years ago. So I am just learning. And I haven't canned anything else. We froze corn. We did buy and freeze corn, blanch it and freeze it. That may be the first time I've done it. If it's not the first time I did that, it's the first time in a long time. So this preserving food is quite new to me. I did grow a garden, a decent garden, quite a few years ago, but I didn't preserve anything. I didn't get into that at all. And now with the pandemic situation, after that, and rising food prices and just less availability of things, I'm learning. I'm just learning preserving. My mother used to can, but I did not learn it from her. She did it when I was young, and I did not learn how to do it from her. So I'm learning from books and YouTube videos. So, okay, so those are peeled. I'm going to take my compost over here and kind of slide those this way so you can see the corn. So I can put the corn on here so you can see corn. Okay, so just take a paring knife and cut around the center. Yep, juice is coming out. This one has a bad spot, so I'll cut the bad spot out and put all that in compost. And I'm going to quarter these and raw pack them when I can them here in a little bit. So I'm going to need another container. Lots of containers in this process. I have another one. I think I have another one. This is a Tupperware cake container. So, you would normally use it like that to put your cake in, but I'm going to make it a bowl. Put my tomatoes in. It may stain the tomatoes, but that's okay. I mean, it may stain the container, but that's okay. So, quarter the tomatoes. So just core them. Core them, put the cores in compost. And cut them into quarters. And put that in my makeshift bowl. And then just keep repeating that process until it's time to can. So this is preparation for canning raw pack, a raw pack method. Okay, I'm back. We have prepared the tomatoes for canning. Skylar helped. She's not in here right now, but she helped with the preparation. So that box of tomatoes right now, it filled up my cake. Here's my hand. So you get the idea. That's like a 2-layer cake container upside down. And then this large, again, there's my hand, this large stainless steel pot I've got. And then this is, this over here is just compost. tomato skins and other stuff that I had in compost. So that'll go outside here shortly. I'm going to get it off the counter. Now the next thing I'm doing is I've got to wash the jars. There's my jars. Okay, and I'm not sure how many it'll take. I'm starting with a dozen pint jars, but I have more if I need them. And while I'm doing that, I'm fixing to wash the jars. While I wash the jars, I've got the canner starting to boil. So I'll get that ready. And then I also have to put the jars in warm water. And so that's water here. It's just started. I put it on, but I've actually got to, it's a little hot. So I'm going to have to put the jars in hot water a little bit and then put them in there. I'm supposed to bring the jars to boiling, so before I fill them. So anyway, we'll see what's next. So the next thing is washing jars. Nothing exciting about washing jars, but it's necessary. Get the camera, get the tripod set. There we go. So I probably should have done this. I certainly could have done earlier, but I didn't, so I'm doing it now. And when Skylar gets back, I may have her wash another set of jars just in case I need them. Because I don't know how many pints this is going to take. And again, I'm doing a raw pack. I just quartered the tomatoes. These are regular mouth jars. I like wide mouth better. A little bit that I've done this, I like wide mouth better, but this is what they had when I bought the jars, so this is what I'm using. Okay, the next step, after the jars are, well, we're in the canning process now. After I've washed the jars, and the jars can be washed at any point, then I put the jars, if I can get my camera over here, I put the jars down into water that's just, it's simmering. I mean, it's just barely at a simmer. It's hot. It's not boiling. It's hot, and you kind of have to get it down in there and fill them with water. This is just a stock pot, and this will hold 5 jars. So I'll let those get warm, and then I'll fill them with tomatoes. The device I'm using here is a jar lifter. It came with a canning set that I bought about 3 years ago. I'm using a different canner today, but anyway, this came as a set. And the reason you warm the jars is you don't want them to break, and if you go from cold immediately to hot, then they can break. And I got a jar laying on the bottom here, so I got to get some tongs and get it off the bottom. Okay, there we go. There we go. So I'll just let those sit in there for a minute, not for very long, and get warm, and then I'll fill them with tomatoes. So this is where I'm doing tomatoes, and this is a batch I've just put in. So they're just sitting in the canner. I'll start my time when I get the canner full with that next batch of jars. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to say the jars are hot enough. I don't really know how long it takes. They just need to be hot. So I'll pick them up with a jar lifter and tilt the water out, and then put it back on the counter over here. Okay, so now I have my hot jars, and I'm going to fill them with tomatoes and then put lids on them. But the lids, my canning lids, I've had in a saucepan, so they're hot. I had them boiling, and they're hot in hot water. Okay. First thing is citric acid. My citric acid was out of date, and so I can use lemon juice. It is citric acid also, so that's what it is. So a bottle of lemon juice is also, I would have used citric acid, but because it doesn't change the flavor at all, but I didn't have any, so bottle of lemon juice is fine. So 1 tablespoon lemon juice per pint, and all of this literally comes out of that Ball book. This is straight from their instructions. Okay, then this is a funnel specifically for canning, and you just put the tomatoes. These are cooled. The tomatoes are cooled. This is the raw pack method again, so I'm just putting them in here. And you're supposed to leave a 1/2 inch of head space at the top. So I'm going to add some more juice, and that's about right. Okay, so the next jar. Skin left on this tomatoes, so I'll pull it off before I put it in the jar. Juice in there. Really doesn't, once you get going with the jars, it's pretty fast. But then I'll have to wait. Then the jars have to process for an hour and 25 minutes. So I'm gonna have to wait after that so that the next batch will cool off. That one's too full. I gotta get some of that out. That's too full. Okay, those 5 jars are filled, and they're really not that hot. They're not hot after I get done with this because the contents isn't hot. I mean, I guess it would be different if you weren't doing raw pack, so I don't know. We'll see. So I haven't had a jar break in that first batch, so as far as I know, so hopefully they won't. I think I'm seeing air bubbles in it, in some of those, so I'm gonna push this down better to get. I did not really push it down. You're supposed to try to get air bubbles out, and I didn't really do much of that in that last batch, so I'm going to do a better job here because it looks like I see air bubbles, and that's not good for it. So I'm going to try to get all the air at the top. You know, I didn't read about the fans. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to have the fans on this. Put them on pretty tight. I'm not sure about that. Fingertip tight. Okay, so I might have them too tight. We'll see. I imagine they need some looseness in order for air to come out of the jars, because that's what we're doing. We're basically vacuum packing this stuff. Sterilizing and vacuum packing. As I understand it anyway. Okay, now get my lids and put those on. I didn't wipe the jars. I'm going to wipe the jars. Okay, so it said fingertip tight, so like I said, I was too tight before, so we'll see if that causes a problem. Okay, so jar and my canner with my jar lifter. Okay, I did 10 jars. It looks like my capacity is 9 jars. I did not read that. My capacity on here, so I'll read the capacity on this canner. Okay, regular jars. It says 10 pints. For model numbers beginning with 075. My model number is on the side, and it is 0175. Okay, it's a 16-quart canner. It says I can fit 10 regular mouth jars in here, and that's what I have. So we'll see if I can get the other one in here. But I can only fit 8 wide mouth. The next batch I was going to do wide mouth, but I may do regular mouth if I have those. So I don't have. Okay, that's gonna cause it to overfill. So I'm gonna have to get some water out. I've got too much water in here. So I'll just get some water out. My trusty little Pyrex measuring cup. Okay, so now let's see if this will do. And I must have, I guess this is a 16 quart. I don't know, 10's a tight fit. I'm not going to put that one in. I'll do that one in the next batch. So. Okay, now this has to boil for an hour and a half, basically. So that's what I'm going to do. Then I'll get jars ready for the next batch. So I'll do some other stuff. Okay, my jars. This is important. This is an important step that I nearly missed. I need to put the lid on my canner, which I did. It said that it's supposed to process, this particular thing is supposed to process for an hour and 25 minutes at a full rolling boil. So I'm going to take the lid off so we can see what that looks like. And it's very hot. Maybe I won't take the lid off. Anyway, full rolling boil. Anyway, never mind. Without the lid on, it wasn't boiling. So it has to be at a full boil. So anyway, lots of steam coming up, lots of noise. Maybe you can hear that.